This is the 2026 Volvo EX90, and it might be one of the best all-electric SUVs that you could buy in 2026. So today I'm reviewing this car and showing you guys everything that you need to know about this car, from the specs, the design of the interior and the exterior, and much more, because I'm Xaaron and you're watching Xaaron Reviews. So first and first, we need to talk about the specs of this car, because this car is powered by a single all-electric motor that powers the rear wheels, and that single all-electric motor creates 329 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque. And this is actually one of the lowest trims of the Volvo EX90 that they actually make. And all that power goes through a single-speed automatic transmission via the rear wheels only, since this doesn't have two electric motors like the Ultra trim of the EX90, which is the most powerful trim. This only has one electric motor that powers the rear wheels. And that power helps you go from 0 to 60 in 6.6 seconds and onto a top speed of 112 miles an hour. And those performance specs are actually pretty good for this car, because this is a 7-seater SUV that weighs close to 6,500 pounds. So now I've told you guys pretty much everything that you need to know about this car performance spec wise. Now all I need to tell you guys is, at least performance spec wise, the quarter mile, because this car has a quarter mile in 15 seconds flat. And if you guys don't know what quarter mile is, a quarter mile basically measures how fast the car goes from a stop to the quarter of a mile. You have a timer at the end and a timer at the start, and then you time it. However fast the car goes across the quarter mile pretty much shows how fast the car will be in an actual drag race, because every single drag race is measured by a quarter of a mile. So this thing has 15-second flat quarter mile, which is actually seriously good. And just to put this car in perspective, like 1990 supercars had quarter miles in 15 to 16-second range, and this is a modern day SUV which costs around $75,000, and it has a quarter mile in the same amount of time as a 1990s Ferrari would have had for over $300,000. And so now let's talk about the range and the MPG. And first thing first, I'm going to talk a little bit about the MPG of this car, because this car is all electric, as I told you guys earlier in this video. It's not powered by an internal combustion engine, but instead it's powered by electric motors. And so this car, instead of having miles per gallon, is going to have miles per gallon electric, since this car is electric. And this car's MPGe is 86 miles per gallon electric city. You have 97 miles per gallon electric highway, and then 92 miles per gallon electric combined. So this car actually has seriously good MPGe, at least for such a large car. Then we need to talk a little bit about the range of this car, because this car's range is 276 to 291 miles of range. For some reason, Volvo didn't really put out one single range specs, just like two separate, like pretty much in between. So my guess is we have a good 281 miles of range, since they didn't really state a specific miles of range. So now I've told you guys pretty much everything that you know about this car spec wise, performance, and everyday spec wise. Now all I need to tell you guys is the final thing, which is the price of this car, because this car starts at $76,000. Interestingly enough, this car has some really nice specs, including the Aurora Silver Metallic exterior, which is brand new for 2026, and this car is actually exactly $75,000, but the base price of the rear-wheel drive plus trim of the Volvo EX90 is actually $76,000. So that is one interesting thing about this car, is that it's actually cheaper than the regular base spec of the Volvo EX90, at least the Plus version. So now that I told you guys everything that you know about this car spec-wise, performance, and regular specs, now let's hop into the design of the interior and the exteriors. And so first thing first, I'm going to talk about the front of this car, and these headlights are probably some of the most interesting headlights I've ever seen on a car, truthfully, because, these headlights look pretty regular when you first take a glance at them, because look, you have these nice matrix LED headlights here with a whole bunch of little squares, kind of like the Hyundai Ioniq 9, even though this debuted before the Ioniq 9. But yeah, you have those nice pieces there. You have your nice little blinker lights there, and then a little Volvo badging. But you guys are probably wondering, where are main nighttime running lights? Because a lot of cars these days have the daytime running lights up here, and then the nighttime running lights down here. But the interesting thing about the Volvo EX90 is that the main nighttime running lights are actually hidden back here, because check this out. Headlights actually open up to reveal the main nighttime running lights, and then close to just be regular daytime running lights in the daytime. So right now, they look like regular doors hammer headlights. That's the name of these headlights, because it kind of looks like a hammer almost if it's laying sideways. So yeah, you have interesting doors hammer headlights there, but then they open up to reveal those seriously cool main nighttime running lights. Then you walk to the front of this car, and you have nice Volvo badging here. You have nice little camera there as well, which is quite nice. And yeah, this is actually the updated Volvo badge, because before the Volvo badge had a kind of big arrow like pointing out of this circle type of thing, but now it's more like closed in, interesting enough. Now it's just like a little piece right there, which is quite interesting. Then also you have this nice, this is actually the brand new paint for 2026, Aurora Silver Metallic, which almost reminds me of like a pinkish silver type of color. It's supposed to be silver, but to me it looks really pink, so yeah, that's also quite interesting. Then, also, you could hop down here. You have a nice lip spoiler coming across the front here, and this is actually black trim. That's another update where you have the nice black trimmed bottom. And interestingly enough, where you'd usually have a regular old air intake right here, right? Instead, Volvo decided to just have like a black panel with these interesting little horizontal strips coming across the side to, I guess, try to mimic an air intake. Then also you have this interesting little slab of black here as well, which is quite cool. But then we hop up here, and that's pretty much it for the main design of the front of this car. Now you also have these interesting pieces here, and I believe these are to make the car, make it more like stand out-ish almost, to make the wheel haunches feel like bigger and wider almost. So Volvo makes the side of the hood lower, and it kind of makes it push out more, so it feels more like carved, I guess you could say. So that is another interesting feature there. Now let's come to the side of this car and start talking about these wheels, because we haven't talked about them yet, but they're definitely quite cool, because these are actually Pirelli Scorpion tires, which are good. They're not performance tires like the Pirelli P0s are Pirelli's main performance tires, but the Scorpions are kind of like a all-weather type of tire, at least for Pirelli. And yeah, so you have nice Scorpion tires. You have these interesting aero discs here, and yeah, the main aero discs are actually metal, interestingly enough. Then you have the plastic discs here. You could probably take these off, I'm not sure, but yeah, you also have the nice little Volvo logo there as well. And actually, interestingly enough, this car is 2026, but under the brake rotor is actually already starting to get rusted, interestingly enough. Check this out. Brake rotor's kind of getting rusted, which is kind of strange. I don't know why it's doing that, even though the car is so new. So yeah, you have that interesting rust there. Then these interesting rear view mirrors here as well, which is quite nice with a nice crystal type of trim there. And then actually you have a camera here and another camera here. I was actually smart about this camera, and they actually thought about that, which is pretty cool, is this has its own tiny little washer right there, so it washes the camera off. I don't know how it cleans the camera off because there's no wiper, but you have a little washer there, which is quite nice. And then you have the main tiny little mirror there, which actually the EX90 shares with the Volvo EX30. Then you also have your nice little flush door handles here. If you touch them, they open up, and then after you're gone for like a minute and the door's closed, and they just automatically close up, which is quite nice. You have some more black trim coming across the side of this car here. And if you just take a look at the side view of this car, it's a really aerodynamic SUV, and I'd say really nice looking SUV. It's not like extreme like square and ugly like a lot of cars becoming these days are, but this one, it's really nice. You have nice like rounded roof that slowly slants to the back. You have the roof bars here, so you can connect your roof bars if you want to put a tent on the top of your car, something like that. So that is also another nice feature. Now you also have your massive charging port here. This is probably one of the biggest charging ports I've ever seen on any car. This is literally like yeah, this is like a foot long and then like 7 inches tall. So yeah, massive charging port there. Now let's move on to the rear of this car, which is probably one of the strangest but also coolest parts, because this car has one of the weirdest headlights I've ever seen. I mean, the Volvo EX30 also shares these same headlights, and one cool thing about the EX90 and the EX30 is that they share a lot of parts. It's almost like the EX90 is the EX30 that kind of grew up almost, which is interesting. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about these headlights now, or rear lights, I guess you could say, because you know, these interesting LEDs here, about 7 of them there, and those are just like your stopping lights, I guess you could say. Then you also have your main backlights here as well, which is quite nice. Then you have your backup lights there as well, and then some reflectors on the side, which is also quite nice. You also have Volvo badging on the back here, and then also you have this nice black trim coming across here, a little camera, and a windshield wiper. And you actually almost have a little like aerodynamic rear spoiler attached to the rear of this car, if you can see there. It is actually quite nice. Body color spoiler there, then your main stopping light right there, which is also quite nice. So now all I need to tell you guys is a couple more things before we check out the trunk and the front of this car. And first, you also could hop down here, and you have this nice back area here, which is all matte black, and as you guys can see, the bottom is actually not completely like flat, I guess you could say, and that actually messes with aerodynamics. If Volvo made the EX90 completely flat, and it would be way more aerodynamic than it currently is, but still, it's a crazily aerodynamic car. So, now we've checked out pretty much all of this really cool exterior. Let's open up the trunk, and the trunk is extremely strange. Here's why. So usually you expect maybe the button would be right here, or maybe you have to wave your foot under or something like that, right? But the trunk is all the way down here. You have to bend down and pop it open. It's literally right next to the license plate, so if you're really tall, this car might not be for you. But anyways, then once you get in the trunk here, actually you can see the lights turn on, which is quite nice. So let's say you broke down or something like that, and you need to get your currently non-existent spare tire, then the lights turn on. And yeah, so the trunk with the third row seats up is not the most spacious that I've ever seen. I mean, it is relatively spacious, but not the biggest. You have a little thing here for shopping, that's for your bags and stuff like that. If you go to the store, let's say, and it's nice, it even has a little bag logo there. You have 12-volt charger there as well. Then you also have storage right here and storage on the other side right there, which is quite nice. You also have LED lights on both sides. And one really interesting thing with this car is this. So you can put up or down the seats just by touching that button. Check that out. And you don't even have to press it. You could just tap it like that. There's no button you have to press, and you see they could go up or down. So let's put the left one up again. But yeah, that's really nice that it has that electric seat show. So now let's put both seats down, because I'm going to show you guys what it looks like when both seats are folded down. So if you only have 5 people in the car and you don't need all those seats up, just push it down, and that's the amount of space you have now. And truthfully, it is seriously good, like really, really good. And even though this car doesn't look that extremely long, it's really, really spacious back here. And you also have cup holders on both sides as well, which is quite nice. Then actually right next to the window sills, there's speakers on both sides as well. And right before we hop out of this trunk, I want to show you guys this, a signature Volvo thing for all their electric cars, which is this. It shows a little logo of your Volvo, a side view of your EX90, how many seats there is. It shows your trunk size and then what will fit in it. So theoretically, you could fit a whole refrigerator in the trunk of your Volvo if you wanted to. So now we've checked out pretty much all of the really cool exterior and trunk of this car. Let's hop inside, and right before we do that, let's check out the front. So let's pop that closed, and let's walk to the front here and pop open the front. So I'm assuming the front is going to be somewhere around here. Is this it? Yes. I don't know if it's double or if there's a latch, but let's see. So, okay, pop that open, and then you have your front. And it's actually nice that it opens hydraulically, but that trunk is insanely heavy because it's made out of pure metal. And now that we opened up this front, it's actually quite nice. It's not the most spacious front I've ever seen. It's interesting that it's circular. I've never seen a circular front before. But yeah, you have storage area on both sides here for maybe a laptop or something like that. You have this here, what is air calm, I wonder. Let's check this out. So you have to unzip it, interestingly, turn it around. Oh, so this is to pump up your tire. It's like a tire filling kit there, which is quite nice. Close that back up, and then just put it back into its area there. And actually, I don't really think you could fit anything really in there. Like, you couldn't fit luggage in there, not really anything. Maybe some groceries or something like that, but it's definitely not the most spacious. So now we've checked out the front, the trunk, and the exterior. Now let's hop inside this thing. So let's close this trunk up, pop it closed on both sides, and hop inside. So let's go. Okay, so now we're inside the 2026 Volvo EX90, and let's actually turn down the fan. It was pretty hot, but yeah, as soon as I hopped inside, I realized this thing is crazy spacious. Like, the seat isn't even back all the way, and look at the amount of leg room I have. Foot room, literally my feet don't even reach the end. I could lay down like this. And actually, speaking of, let's test out the seat as the first thing we do, because it's actually interesting. This is a square that you put the seat down with. It's like a little square that you could adjust the front and the back, put it back and forth. But let's see how far this thing lays back, because foot room is really, really good. Let's see how good it is when you want to lay down. And yeah, this thing lays back literally almost all the way, which is quite nice. And yeah, it's actually quite comfortable. The seats, they're not like a hyper comfortable like a Rolls Royce, but they're still, it's really nice laying down. Great amount of foot room, head room, and yeah. Yeah, anyways, it's definitely really nice. I don't want to fall asleep in the middle of the review, but yeah, that seat I definitely say is quite nice. Just takes a little while for it to come up. And yeah, let's put it back into position. Now, let's talk a little bit about these side areas here, because this car, I actually like how it's so like sculpted, I guess you could say. Like, just everything is kind of like flows into each other, and it feels really nice. And first, let's talk about these doors. You have this nice soft tan trim here. You have your main door handle there, and your hand could actually go through it there, which is quite nice. It actually almost makes it look like it's floating here, like this whole type of area here, which operates the door, which is actually electrically opened like that. That door, you have also the window right there, and then also you have your lock and unlock buttons. And yeah, the stitching is also quite nice and straight. You have storage here as well, which is actually also quite nice. There's no specific cup holder in here, but there's just a large amount of storage here. So nice metal trim there, and then your main speaker. Whoa, those speakers are massive. Check it out. You have a huge, like extremely huge speaker area here, which is quite nice. And actually, you also have more speakers up here as well. So you have a lot of speakers in this car. You have some more soft trim here, and yeah, everything is kind of like soft, all the materials here. Nothing is extremely hard except for the wood. But yeah, you also have the nice wood trim here to make everything feel a bit more luxurious. Then also you have your AC here, which is actually really, really interesting. Because check this out. It looks like it's one massive AC, right? It only blows about to here, and then it stops blowing, but then it also starts blowing out to here. So this is a little useless here. But then you have your main ACs here, and look at how you control them. So you could control them like it's all connected to these joints. Like, check this out. If you look inside, there's like one huge joint where you can move everything around, which is actually really, really cool. And yeah, so you have a nice strong AC there. You actually have more speakers coming all the way across this car here. So you have a full-length speaker there as well, which is also quite nice. And actually, view out of this car, I also have to admit, is extremely good. Like, even though the windshield is actually extremely slanted, this car's view overall is definitely, I'd say, quite great. And actually, interestingly enough, like, there's usually a glove box right here, right? Like a small glove box. Or actually, in Volvos, like the Volvo EX30, the glove box was right here under the screen. But that wouldn't be really nice here because there's this, like, bump here where the massive screen is. But the actual glove box is right here, like in a regular car. But you don't access it in a regular car way, because usually you have a nice little handle right here, somewhere on the body, I guess you could say, up to glove box, but instead it's on the screen on Volvo. So you press the little glove box button there, and then it opens up. And actually, based on how big the outside was, I expected it to be a massive glove box, but it's actually quite small. Interestingly enough, you have a little amount of storage there. You have a little booklet on your Volvo leather, and then some more stuff there. And yeah, so tiny little glove box. It's actually covered in like velvet type material there, which is quite interesting. But yeah, you have that cool little glove box there. And actually, so you have to kind of press it in a little bit to make it click into place, or else it won't pop into place, interestingly enough. But yeah, then also let's start talking about this center console area, because I definitely want to talk about this. It's definitely really cool. And first thing first, let's talk about this armrest, because you have nice armrest here. This is actually the perfect size for my arm, so yeah, quite nice armrest. You could also pop this open, and you have a working storage area here, which is quite nice. And actually, check this out. So at first it kind of looks like it's just one level large, but then you could pop these little doors open and it becomes extra deep, which is quite nice. Let's close those back up. So yeah, if you want to have 2 levels of stuff in here, then you could always do that with this really nice glove box. So let's close that up. You also have your cup holders here as well, which is quite nice. And actually, you could close them up if you want the interior to feel more luxurious and elegant, or you could open them up if you need to put your cups or coffee or anything like that. So yeah, that is also quite nice. And actually, interesting. Check this out. So this area right here, the cup holder, actually doesn't close all the way on its own. You have to kind of click it into place right there, but still, it's quite nice to have that little feature. Then, well, I want to talk about the key of this car, because this car literally has the weirdest key on any car. Literally, Volvo EX30 and Volvo EX90 should take the crown for the weirdest key of any car. And check that out. It's just a little card. Actually, just like Tesla has actually just started to do this with the brand new Model Y, but Volvo's been doing this since 2024. So it's interesting. You have that little key card there. You also have this adjustment here. You could turn up the sound of music and stuff like that with this little button, or you could also stop and turn on and off the music here. And actually, interesting enough, if you look inside of there, you have this cool little like trim there, like honeycomb, like squished honeycomb type of design inside of there. So nice little design feature there as well. Now let's talk a little bit about the screen in this car. Well, a lot, because the screen is big. Well, first I want to talk about this Google Maps type of thing here, and let's test it out, because Volvo screens, pretty much all the Volvos I reviewed, at least the electric Volvos, have had seriously quick screens. So let's test it out. Oh yeah, that screen is extremely quick. That's quite nice. Let's just recenter that. And yeah, so you have really nice, quick Google Maps. Actually, one nice thing is that this Google Maps in this car is actually made for Volvo, or at least for electric cars, so that it shows you every single charging station. So that is quite nice. You also have your music here. You could connect your phone. You have Google Assist. You have range and trip. So it shows you how many miles you have left. What's the maximum? Oh, so the maximum range this car gets is 280 miles of range. Volvo claimed between 276 and 291 miles of range, but the maximum is actually 280, and the minimum is 170. And then also the dynamic range here. So that's the range. So pretty much maximum is the range you get just driving in the city and to the grocery store and stuff. Minimum is if you're driving really fast in this car or something like that, which is actually still pretty good. And a dynamic range is pretty much combined. So let's say sometimes you're going to the grocery store, that sometimes you're going to the Nürburgring once in a while. That's the amount of range you're going to get. So that is also quite nice. You also see consumption here with the instant. So that's 3.3 kilowatts. You have average kilowatt hours per 100 miles, which is 28. You also have speed, you have driving style, you have climate. So currently, the climate is taking away a lot of the battery consumption. It's taking up a lot of the battery consumption, and currently, outside, as you guys can see, it's 94 degrees Fahrenheit. So no wonder the climate is taking up most of the battery range. So that is also quite cool that they have that. You could also scroll to the side and see current trip, how far you've driven, how many hours or minutes you've driven, then also since last charge, how much you've driven since then, and then since last reset. So that was when they last updated this car. So this actually shows like how much consumption for the battery stuff has taken up. So it shows here consumption distribution between the last 20 miles, and this car only has about 8 miles on the clock, so they haven't driven it that much. But you could see driving has consumed 47% of the battery, climate 23%, and in battery care and electronics 30%. So climate in this, it's currently 94 degrees Fahrenheit, like I stated a little bit earlier, and well, that takes up a lot of the battery of this car. So electric vehicles will have worse range in really hot or really cold weather. So that's one thing to note when buying an EV. And you can also see average consumption last 20 miles, and that's not completely correct because this car hasn't even been driven 10 miles. But yeah, you could also see 100 miles, how much the consumption has been, 40 miles, 20 miles, and then automatic. So that is also quite nice, and that is it. You can't scroll anymore. And interestingly, check this out. So you could scroll, and it kind of stretches everything out. Interesting, but yeah, and you could go back to their trip information, and then range assist. So you go back home here, and then you could also go to the applications, you have Bluetooth media player, you have radio, phone, range, and trip, which we were just on. You have Bose audio, which actually looks like the Bentley logo there. The Bose logo looks kind of like the Bentley logo, interestingly enough. Then you also have settings here. So let's press on that. You have driving, and you could press on that, and then it could see time interval to vehicle ahead. So I guess you could adjust how far you're going to be from the car ahead of you, and this is medium currently. You could also put it to long or short. You have adapt to speed limit, so that's when you're on pilot assist, which is pretty much where you're letting your feet off the pedal and just controlling it like this, where it's staying in its own lane, but you just have to control it sometimes. But you could pretty much set how far you want to stay away from the car. You're going to see adapt to speed limit, so it'll sense any speed limits around, and then it'll adjust the car speed to those speed limits. And also have curve speed assist, so it'll adjust the speed to a certain speed when there's curves, which is also quite nice. You also have driving dynamics. You have drive mode, standard, or off-road. You have one pedal driving, which actually Volvo's having big problems with one pedal driving recently, having like recalls and stuff like that. So one pedal driving is not extremely safe to use anymore. But you also have steering feel. You can make it soft or more sporty, which is firm. You also have lane keeping aid. You have distraction alert, speed limit warnings, and stuff like that. Then you go back. You have charging, connectivity, controls, and this is actually interesting. Good how dark or bright it is in the interior of this car. You also have display brightness. You have locking, like you could put child lock automatically on the car's doors. You also have occupant locking, allow locking with occupants inside. Interesting. Then you'd also go to view all, and it shows you all the different settings and greeting lights. So if you do that, it'll automatically do like a light show type of thing from the front headlights when you're coming close or going out of the car, which is quite nice. And you also have lights and stuff like that. So that is pretty much it for the screen. You also have over here, everything is okay. It's the status of the car there. Then also the quick controls like the headlights, rain sensitivity, and stuff like that. So now let's close that up. And so that is pretty much it for the really cool screen of this car. Now let's talk about a couple more things. And first is this. So you have the nice lights here. You could press auto off there. You could turn that on. Then you could also press just the side headlights here as well, which is quite nice. And yeah, I guess all of them turn on at the same time, or you could turn them on separately just here. Turn them on or off separately, which is also quite nice. But this one stays on. I don't know how to turn that center one off. You also have that interesting wide mirror here as well, which is also quite nice. And then also you have nice little mirror here with your LED lights, which are also quite nice. And so now that we talked about pretty much everything that you know about the front seats of this car, let me just show you guys the final thing, which is this, the steering wheel and the screen. Because if you guys watched my review of the Polestar 4 that I did recently, you guys might notice that this car has the exact same screen here as the Polestar 4, and that's because Volvo and Geely, which if you don't know what Geely is, they're a Chinese car company, they pretty much own half of the company Polestar, and some of the things from Volvo and some of the things from Geely pretty much into one car, which is the all-electric Polestar 4. So you have that interesting, you can see hello, brake and shift, you have how much miles of range you have left, the battery percentage, the overall range, and then you go to the steering wheel, and you have the Volvo badging there as well. You could also adjust sound. You could ask like Alexa, put me to a certain destination, like put it on the Google Maps. You can also rewind or fast forward like songs and stuff going on if you have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. You could also are also for music there. And I really like the way the steering wheel is. You have a nice round steering wheel with a nice metal trim there. So now that we're checking out pretty much everything that you need to know about the front seat of this car, let's hop into the back seats. Yeah, so now we're in the back seats of this car, and I put the seat forward just a little bit so where it'd be comfortable for an adult. And yeah, still, I have great foot room, really good foot room. I have good knee room here as well. You have a little storage here, which is also quite nice for like a phone or a book or something like that. And then on the side here, you have your door handle here, which is quite nice. You also have your window switches there, and then your lock and unlock buttons. Then also you have your nice handle there as well. You have both speakers here, and actually a little adjustable AC pieces here, and you can actually turn off the AC with this by turning it clockwise and then counterclockwise to turn the AC on, which is also quite nice. Then you could hang a coat or something like that by there. You could turn on or off the little reading light here as well. I don't know why the reading light is positioned so forward where it kind of just shines onto the headrest of the passenger seat, but it would have been smarter if they put it right here so you could actually read with it. Interesting. So yeah, you have that nice little reading light there. Then you also have the nice little headrest here as well, and the seats are actually quite comfortable, which is definitely nice. Then the center seat here, pull this forward, and yeah, you have the nice little cup holder there, which is actually, it's quite nice how Volvo did this, because regularly, of course, this wouldn't really be able to fit a bottle because the bottle would just fall over, but instead Volvo made it to where these pieces here, the kind of closing pieces, instead also act as a holder for the bottle, so that is also quite nice. You just have to pop that closed. It's not going closed, so okay, so you have to kind of push it hard into place, but yeah, so that's also quite nice. Now let's hop into the center seat, and yeah, one thing I have to say that's good about this is that the floor is completely flat, so there's no problem with fitting in the center seat, but the center seat itself is really hard and uncomfortable, so not the best. But yeah, then you also have, like, you could adjust your AC here, you could also have your cooling here or heating your seats. You could also turn on or off your AC with these nice little switches here as well. And actually, one thing I want to talk about before we hop into the third row is this, because this roof, I'm not a huge fan of. A lot of Volvos have it, like the EX30 and EX90, but this roof is really, like, it heats up a lot, and it makes the cabin of the car really hot if the car is outside for too long, so not the best. I mean, the Volvo EX90 actually comes with, in the Ultra trim, option where you could have a little thing that closes and covers up the window, but still, it'll definitely heat up the cabin more than you'd like. So that is one of the only things I'd say about this car that I'm not the biggest fan of. So now let's hop into the third row. Okay, so now let's open up these seats. So, oh, you could also pull this forward. Oh, so that's to close it up. So let's pull this forward, and then okay, I guess that doesn't pull forward. You probably just have to climb over it. But now let's open up the third row. And you have a nice little button here, which, let's pop it open, hold it down for a second, and then it pops that seat open. Now let's open the left side. And so now let's hop in to the third row. So it's, yeah. So yeah, now we're in the third row of this car, and we have to get the headrest up. And foot room is not the greatest. I mean, actually, if I squeeze my foot right there, then yeah, it's actually pretty nice. If we put the seat back, then yeah, I don't think I'll have a huge amount of knee room. Let me try it over here, and yeah, not the best I've been in, but still, it's fine for younger kids like 10 and under. But yeah, the seats are actually quite comfortable. Knee room's not the best, but the seats are quite comfortable. You have the nice little cup holders here and a little tablet or book holder there as well. You have little AC pieces there and a pretty sufficient amount of view out of the windows, which is also quite nice. And yeah, this is the AC. Then you also have your speakers here and here for really good speakers. Your reading light, which again are really forward position, interestingly enough, and then a little holder for, let's say clothes or something like that. So now let's hop out and near the end of our video, since we've checked out pretty much all of the things that you need to know about this car, from the specs, to the interior and the exterior, and everything else. So let's go. Okay, so I hope you guys liked this video. Remember to like and subscribe to Xaaron Reviews. And well, now we need to rate this thing, because I haven't rated this car yet, but I rate this car a good 7.4, because the exterior looks really nice. The performance specs are seriously good, and the interior is really nice. The only thing I'd say isn't the greatest is that the seat doesn't fold down all the way, which is kind of strange, but other than that, I say this car is a seriously good car. So for now, I hope you guys liked this video. Remember to like and subscribe to Xaaron Reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next video, and comment down below which car you guys want me to review next.